All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of What's What BR. Today we have Robyn Lott from the Baton Rouge Zoo. Robyn, how are you today?
I'm good. How about you?
I am good. We're couldn't ask for better weather during all this. I think we've had 2 days, like both those, like 2 Sundays that were just nasty, but other than that, it's been great.
It's been a lifesaver. The weather has been a sanity saver for sure.
I can only imagine horrible weather. I was telling my wife, if it was wintertime, dark, cold, gloomy,
Yep.
rainy, and couldn't even send the kids outside, or every
Mhm.
time they came out, they went outside for 20 minutes and had to come in and change,
Right.
I'd lose my mind more than I am now. But
Same here. Yes. God
so
sent.
yeah, so so tell me, you are at the Baton Rouge Zoo. What are you doing? What do you do at the Baton Rouge Zoo?
Yes. So I handle all of our marketing and public relations at the zoo. But in this time, I'm kind of doing everything because the zoo's not open. So it's not a whole lot to market. We have looked for ways to reach families while they're at home to keep their kids engaged and to keep folks abreast of what's happening at the zoo while we're not open to the public.
What have you been doing? I've seen a number of things, and for lack of, we're here for the show, but I've seen the efforts you guys done. It's done a great job of engaging families. But tell us, for everybody who hasn't, necessarily found
Yeah.
that.
So we kind of have called them virtual adventures. And our thought was there are people who are looking for educational stuff for their kids, but also even adults that just want to feel like they're outdoors, to feel like they're connected to the animals. We have a huge fan base. Over almost 50,000 followers on our Facebook page that are interested in seeing what are the animals doing while they can't go see them. So we've done some virtual adventures, which are basically a video series with our keepers. And we've included like 25 of our animals, and we're putting those out every few days. So you get to hear all about the American alligator or all about our reticulated giraffe. And we've even done some of our more unique species like the maned wolf that is very reclusive. And often when you come to the zoo, you don't even see the maned wolf. So we've spotlighted some of the more charismatic ones, but also some of the ones that you might not ever see or know a whole lot about. We also did a really fun campaign with Raising Cane's chicken fingers, and we did a kid keeper project. It wasn't really a contest, but we encouraged kids to be a keeper in their own backyards. And they submitted videos. It was super fun social media content for parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles to get behind. And we loved seeing all of the kids give us not only fun facts about the animals, but also educational facts. And Raising Cane's gave every child who participated in that a free kids meal. So that was another fun way of not just one way communication. It's not just the zoo telling everybody what's going on. It's also the kids getting involved. And we had a lot of parents who said, thank you so much for doing that, because it forced my child to get off the couch or off the video games or whatever and do something fun. So that was a lot of fun.
We found that a lot of parents, obviously we talk with a lot of them and engage as well. That's what they're looking for, something to engage, get away from the screen, go
Right.
find something to do. I grew up in the era of go outside and come back home and the street lights are on, and that's what we did. And, nowadays sometimes you got to push the kids to get outside, and it's amazing to see them outside sometimes, just to see what they can do and what they can find. I think the younger they are, the more fun they are to watch.
Especially if left to their own devices. This time frame has forced parents to do a lot of working at home and the kids to be a little more on their own. And it's interesting how much they can entertain themselves if we just provide them the free time and the nice weather to go explore. So
there's a study that I've read about where they took, it was this long study they did over a number of years, but they took young kids when they started out in like kindergarten and all the way up until they were seniors. And they would ask the simple question, here's a paper clip. What can you do with it? Or imagine a paper clip, I think is what it was. And what can you do with it? And the kindergartners and the younger kids would be like, well, can the paper clip be made of foam and be 100 feet tall? And, they came up with hundreds of things that they could do. And by the time we had educated the kids and ran them all the way through the school system, they came out as seniors and they were like, you can clip some paper together.
Right.
You know, there's nothing, maybe you could pick a lock with it, but I
Right.
just found it funny how the younger the children are,
Right.
just the imagination moves and goes. And
Yes.
that's got to be something that you can probably see that on a daily basis at the zoo, you know,
Oh,
where as they're
absolutely.
walking, and because they don't see this, you know, these animals every day.
No, and we have an education department that not only does programs at the zoo, but they go to the schools and do the Zoo Mobile program. That's a huge way that we reach audiences. We have Project Art, which is a program that's funded by Entergy, and it allows us to go into any public school in East Baton Rouge Parish, and it's free. Typically, the Zoo Mobile, there is a fee associated with it. It's a relatively reasonable fee, but this is it's a grant basically that provides us the opportunity to offer that to those schools, and we were fully booked all
Really?
spring. So all of those students are missing out on those opportunities, and I know our education department is missing seeing those aha moments, you know, in the kids' eyes. But they've been doing some really fun virtual Zoomobile programs too. We've done those online as well. They're like 6, 8, 10 minutes long, and they basically are utilizing our ambassador animals, which are those animals that can be handheld. And they're not wild. And the education department tells us all kinds of interesting fun facts about their diet and habitats and things like that. So those have been really popular too. But we're just kind of doing whatever we can to, and it's been really successful. Like everything, I mean, I see the metrics on our back end compared to what we normally are doing, and people are lapping it up and enjoying it. And we even have been really, really fortunate that our memberships, which are an opportunity for people to guests to come to the zoo, they pay a one-time fee, and then they can come as many times as they want in a year, have skyrocketed during the quarantine time frame.
That's awesome.
Well, we did a small campaign for it for 3 days. We did a little flash sale. We thought that, you know, we might have a little blip, but it was super successful. And I don't know if that's because everyone's looking for something to look forward to the minute that we get the green light, or if it's that they are super supportive of the zoo and want to do what they can to support, or kind of a combination of the two. But yeah, we're really hopeful that because we are outdoors, we are large, that we will be one of the first family entertainment type facilities that can begin to welcome groups, even if super small and very much a unique scenario from what we're used to. We'll definitely be making some different constraints and rules and regulations for how that will work, but we're hopeful that that will be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you mentioned my first thought when you said, you know, we're large. I remember being there with my kids. One of the things I liked, it was room to run. Like they could run.
Right.
You know, they could run so far ahead, you know, and I could see them the whole time, and I wasn't worried, you know, and it wasn't like we were cutting through a parking lot to get somewhere or trying to in the yard. And, you know, it was just, they'd run, and every time they turn a corner, you know, they'd find something new, and then they'd run back and say, you got to come see this. And it was just this, you know, hurry up and catch, you know, game. But, you know, everybody's closed right now, and everybody's at home for the most part, but you guys can't exactly close up shop. You've got animals to take care of, you know. That's we talked with Ginger from LSU. She takes care of, you know, the communication manager over with Mike the Tiger, so she gave us a little bit of what they have to do. But they've got one animal,
right?
You guys have
about 800.
Yeah. 800.
It's actually been kind of like business as usual for our animal staff. I mean, they continue, the way I best describe it to people to visualize it is just like a massive farm. You know, a farmer doesn't get to take a vacation, and the same is the case with our zookeepers and our curators. So for them, they're continuing to take care of the animals as they always have. It's almost a little better at times, only because they don't have to work within the confines of our usual business hours. So in the past, we open at 9:30 in the morning. Depending on the day of the week, we close between 4 and 5 p.m. So all of the work they did with the animals had to happen prior to 9:30 a.m. or after we closed in the evenings. Now they have all day. So they can do extra enrichments, they can do more training, they can do all kinds of things that are stimulating to the animal that we wouldn't maybe be able to do when we're open to the public and we want the animal out on exhibit for our guests. So they've been liked that. I think that our staff's, they're missing the people, but they are enjoying a little more quality time with the animals, kind of like parents are enjoying more quality time with the kids at home.
Right.
It's also given us a really great opportunity to do what a lot of us are doing in our homes, and that is like spring cleaning. So we have done a lot of projects that can't simply be done when we have have guests in the zoo. So a lot of pressure washing and painting and that type of maintenance type work, that we are open 361 days a year. So you can imagine, with only a few days of closure, there are certain projects that are much more difficult to do when we're open. And so we're taking advantage of that.
I talked with Shelly from Crawfish Aquatics, and I think she said it best. We've been all given the gift of time, and literally when we did, when she was on the show, we talked with her. She literally, had the paint on her hands from still painting, and they were striping parking lots, and they were pressure washing, and they've got a thing. And that's what she said. We've been given the gift of time, and it sounds like that's hard. Everybody's got, as I kind of told her, we all have, this is the to-do list for the day. This is the to-do list for the week. This is the to-do list for there. We all have that to-do list. On mine, it's called the someday maybe list. It's like, it needs to be done. Someday maybe we'll get to it, but until then, I think that just working down that list, is where it's kind of giving everybody a chance. I can imagine though, for those employees, that's going to be kind of a bittersweet. If they were having to do stuff before 9 and after 5, now they've done it during the day. We're going to open back up, and they're going to go back to that schedule.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good balance. It's kind of like when you go on vacation and you have a lot of fun, but you're sort of ready to go back to reality. I think we're all kind of coming around. So there's good and bad, to both. And the cool thing is we have staff that we're able to keep employed that don't normally take care of animals. So if you were somebody who worked, in the gift shop or the cafe or drove the train, you can help us out by helping clean out things. So we're really kind of putting everybody in roles so that they can be utilized and still remain employed and be a valuable part of our team. So it's, up until now, it has been relatively calm at the zoo through all of this. I work from home most days, but I've been a few times to shoot some photos and videos and things, and it is truly the most zen thing I do all week. It is just ridiculously calm, and it almost feels like this pandemic doesn't exist when you walk inside the zoo.
I can imagine. I've told some people, and I think I'm starting to get kind of to the other side of it, but for myself, we've been so busy retooling people's plans and what they're doing every single day. Just about at the end of the day, kind of everybody's gone to bed, and I'm sit there, and I'm like, is this really happening? Is this really, are we really here? And I can imagine, like, you kind of picture walking through, the turnstiles there and kind of being able to just walk through the zoo, and just be, there's a flamingo here, and
they're clueless. Like, the animals have no idea, and so it's really nice. And it's kind of nice to go do something where you don't feel like you need to wear a mask or stay socially distant from people because they aren't there. So it's kind of nice. Yeah. So, that's what we're hoping. Like you mentioned with the sidewalks. We've got these ridiculously large sidewalks. We're multi-acre. It's over a mile loop around the zoo to do it on foot. So we're hoping that will be to our advantage over, a location that's inside, and we'll have to do some additional efforts there. But we're actively looking to see where we fall. We aren't sure if we fall into a cultural attraction, like a museum and those type of guidelines, or if we are going to fall under a festival because we're larger. And that will do a lot in determining what type of guidelines and direction we have to do with our modifications.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, which phase are you guys in? And I can imagine I've talked to a lot of people, and they're like, well, I think we're here, but if we looked at it this way, everybody's trying to, justify.
It's a lot of interpretation.
So what are the plans? Is there, you said it's business as usual, kind of for the most part, from a reopening.
As animal care and everything that goes, that is definitely, as normal, with, like I said, even some souped up additional type work. We are meeting on a daily basis with direct leadership, and we give updates and reports on everything that's going on, not just with the zoo, but all of the parks. And then obviously the zoo is a big part of that. And so we're just continuing to look to the guidance from the governor's office. And as more things come out, we'll know more about what we can do. But the great thing is we are a member of a variety of groups, so we can tap into what are other parks and recreations groups around the United States doing. What do their plans look like? The zoo is still a member of the shared portal of American Association of Zoos and Aquariums. And so we are actively, like I'm on a listserv with other PR professionals at zoos across the world. And so as they are developing their plans, they're sharing them, and we're utilizing a lot of shared synergistic information to develop our plans.
Well, and that's awesome. Two, but it sounds like you don't have, it's kind of flipped the switch, get the person back at the ticket booth, and a green light is what you need to open, because you guys have been doing maintenance, the animals, everybody's been taking care of. It's not I know a lot of businesses that are, okay, we got to get staff back in, and we got to get people that have, been furloughed, and we got to figure it's right. Everybody kind of went through this whole process, and now what they're realizing, I've noticed it, especially this week, people are talking about, we're ready to go back to work. We're ready to go back to work. And then they're going, okay, we actually might get to go back to work now. And all of a sudden they get this huge long to-do list. And right. It's like, wait, we're not ready to go back. I got to, find my people. I got to get them situated. Yeah. We got to move desk around, all that kind of stuff. You guys are ready, out in the open,
Yeah, I mean, there's some modifications. Like, we'll obviously do some of the markings about reminding folks when they're in line 6 feet apart. We've never had online ticketing. We're working to see if we can develop that so that you could purchase your ticket in advance. Wouldn't be mandated, but there's the possibility that you could. And if you wanted to be touchless, you could just have it on your phone and do a scan at the gate. And then there will be some areas that I'm sure when we first open will not be open to the public, like our aquarium. It's a closed, smaller facility within the zoo, so the aquarium may remain closed. Contact yard with, like, we have a kids zoo area where kids can pet the goats, and playground. So some of those kind of things may have to be modified, but by and large, if you're looking for a basic day at the zoo to walk around and see the animals and be able to breathe some fresh air and stay relatively distant from others, unless it's just, one of our crazy boo at the zoo days, we should be able to relatively easily pull that off, I would think. But I'm not the expert there, but I certainly think we have an advantage over some other entertainment and educational groups. So
absolutely.
That. It's up until now, it's kind of been, it's funny. We laugh about the fact that we're an outdoor venue, and I'm in charge of all of our big events that we put on. And I can't tell you how many events we've planned and prepped and done all of the blood, sweat, and tears for, and then it's ruined, at least in our world, by rain, or a cold snap that doesn't allow us to do a lot of the things we want to do. And we've kind of always said, if we could just put a dome over it, then we could be able to execute all this if it just weren't outside. And now it being outside is actually such an advantage for us.
It's turned everything around. I've worked with a number of companies, and one company I do some work with, they have a list, and they go through a meeting and they talk about, issues. Everybody puts the issues that they have to work with. And lately there hasn't been many, there, and because there's not much happening, people are trying to figure it out. But we were sitting there the other day and somebody said, there was nothing actually on the list. And somebody goes, pandemic. And everybody just kind of started laughing. It's like, yeah, we never thought we'd have to deal with a pandemic. We never planned this, how do we do it? But it's amazing there couldn't have been anything in your plans or anybody at the zoo's plans for pandemic. Go get that binder off the shelf, and let's see how do we take care of animals in a pandemic and keep our people safe. And to be able to hear that you're repurposing the people from the gift shop, to helping out, that's amazing. Too many people are not doing that. They're just kind of saying, sorry, there's nothing we can do. And I think people I talked to, or not talked to, but I know of another publisher in another state that literally, right when this first happened, just literally shut everything down. And so we're not going to get through this, and just, it was like, you never thought that a month ago. Why would you consider that now? We all have to kind of band together, and push. But I think you're right on target where you've got the area. I know families are looking to get kids out. They're getting into summer camps, and summer camps are going to be looking for, we talked the other day with one, are they going to be going to swim? Are they going to be able to go to the movie theaters? They're going to be able to go there. Like you just said, you've got distance, you've got size on your side. You can easily take 100 kids and space them out and walk that path, and social distance.
Our biggest I guess, hurdle we have to get through with summer camp is that because it gets so hot in the summer, we have one devoted air conditioned room building that the kids go to when they're not outside, that we're working through what our options will be for that, because we can't make them sit outside all day. It'll just be, it would be pretty oppressive. So it's easy to think that now when the weather's still kind of like nice and palpable, but I know we'll get to a point where it will be pretty hot. But yes, we are actively working to see how we can continue to offer summer camps, because we know that parents are going to need them and kids are going to want something to do. I mean, staying with a relative or something like that all summer is going to get really tiring. I mean, I speak as a mother. I know my kids are definitely tired of it. They spend a lot of time on the computers doing their classwork, but then as soon as they're done, they do as much outside, just free play. And at some point, all of that will get a little old. So.
That's, I think more than ever, typically summer camps are always a big thing, for parents to get their kids, because they still have work. They've got to get to the office. They've got to get things, we've run, 2 months now, where companies are behind and they're off target and project everything's there. So I think I said this on another show, as a matter of fact, Baton Rouge was a town to me that you couldn't get much done during the summer. Half of the town, every time you needed somebody, they were going to the beach, or just getting back and trying to get caught up. I don't know how much. I think we're going to have a lot of people hitting the beaches, but at the same time, I think you're going to see that laxed environment isn't going to be there as much, where people are like, no, we've got to get back to working, which is going to force parents. Where do we go to camp? Where do we do with the kids? And these kids mine are used to hanging out with me and seeing, and doing things. And I know the last thing we want to do is spend another day, another Saturday, just kind of sitting around the house.
Right.
So tell me, how do people find, what's the website for you guys? How do they find if they don't know, if you
sure
a rock, but.
So brzoo.org is our website. And then they can find us on all of the social media channels. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So we're very active on those, and we are constantly we're starting a new initiative this week with Get to Know Your Keeper Staff. And so we thought, we focused on the animals a lot, but we haven't really taken the time to get to know the people behind the group that takes care of the animals. And so we're doing some fun videos with them about their favorite zoo memories and favorite animals and stuff like that. So that will be a lot of fun for folks to get to know them too.
Oh, awesome. But if you want to, we'll bring some of them here. We'll talk to them, put some questions, and, maybe we can do a little Q&A with them on things. So, because they're the ones that are really making it work, because the zoo is never, without them, it's not going to be as clean as people see it when they go.
Absolutely.
Animals are dirty.
A lot. And that's a group that, pandemic or not, they're there on holidays. Like someone goes in on Christmas Day, someone goes in on Thanksgiving, someone goes in on New Year's Day to do those tasks. So they definitely are our own little version of heroes. So we like to spotlight them and give them their credit for all the hard work they do.
It's funny. You said the same thing. Ginger did. I didn't even think about it again. She said, she was talking about Mike the tiger, and she goes, Mike's got to eat on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to, feed them. Somebody's got to be there. You've got, 800 animals that need to eat on Christmas Day, on Christmas Eve. And this isn't flip a switch, turn it on and off. This is real life. So, yep. Well, look, Robyn, am I missing anything? I think we've covered, you got it.
I think that's it. We just, we're trying to remind everybody that it's our 50th anniversary. It was kind of sad, I guess, for me more than probably anybody, because we had prepared so many fun things to celebrate our 50th. We had a 50th birthday party planned at the end of March that was canceled. So we are working to try to see what we can do to envelop that into another event that we have later in the year. If not, we may just celebrate our 50th on our 51st and just call it a belated birthday party. But we have some fun stuff coming. If and when we can get reopened this summer, we've got some really fun ways that we're going to give back to the public in honor of our 50th. So we're just ask everybody to kind of stay tuned and remember that that's a super exciting commemorative year for us. And we've got fun stuff that will come as soon as we can get folks back in the zoo.
And that's a big deal. 50 years is big for anything, but 50 years and 800 animals and the people, the there's a lot going there. So Congratulations there. obviously, especially in you guys' world, trying to figure out which phase, where you guys are, what the status is. I think if you'd come back and tell us, hey, we know we're going to open, here's when we're going to open, and here's what we're doing with camps,
Yep.
and here, when that gets decided, I think I think we're all saying, we're like, oh, we'll know in a day or two. We'll know in a day or, it's a day or two, a month or two, is kind of
Yep.
where it ends up. But at the end of the day, we'll help you get whatever information out we can. The more we can talk, the more we can communicate out to people. I think that's how this, show started. People wanted to know what's the story. When people want to know what's going on at the zoo, we can tell them. We'll push them out to all the social media channels, push them to the website. Hopefully you'll get that online ticketing.
Yeah.
Everybody I know, you mentioned it with the memberships. Everybody I know that's been selling tickets and, kind of pre-buy stuff is doing extremely well, right now.
And those memberships, I think what was so good with that is we don't start them until we reopen. So basically, if somebody buys a membership today and we don't open till June 1st, their membership does not activate till June 1st. So they're in a nice little grace period. And we're doing that with all of our active members too. Like anyone who's currently a member, when this started, the day we closed was March 17th, we will credit their account the amount of time that the zoo was closed. So no one's going to lose out.
That's amazing. Too many people are not doing those kind of,
Yeah.
I've dealt with a couple of personal situations like that where I wish they would have been as nice. So can they get the membership still, or was that just a drive that was running?
No, it's always available on our website, and they're very reasonably priced. I mean, a household membership for a mom, dad, and anyone that lives in the family is $59 a year. So they're very reasonable. But we had just done a little 20% off flash sale a few weeks back, and that led to a lot of memberships coming in. We actually had a lot of people that did them as gifts. So you can not just do them for yourself, but you can do them for a grandmother might buy them for the family that lives in, that she doesn't live in Baton Rouge, but they do, and she knows that they need an outing as soon as this is all over. And so we sold quite a bit of those. That's just, I think, almost like mood lifters to people.
I think that's one of the things is, instead of giving, traditional gifts, give experiences, is something that I've heard, that's going to give $59 for a year to be able to come and go. You can't do the math.
Yeah, you come twice. If you come twice a year, it pays for it more than pays for itself. You're in the plus once you come twice. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Robyn, look, I appreciate you coming out here, virtually, with us to see kind of what's going on. This is the new come to the office. Everybody's going to just work from screens for a little while, but it is good. I've decided that I like it to where I can see more people throughout the day, and I'm not sitting in the car all the time.
And the traffic, I tell you, that has been nice. The traffic and the fuel savings has been fantastic. Those are two pluses.
I had to go run to Costco the other day, and I was like, wait, no, I'm not going right now. And then I was told, no, there is no more Baton Rouge traffic. You can go anytime you want.
Right, so, like 5 o'clock is the same as 10 a.m. It's good. That's great.
Well, Robyn, I appreciate it. We'll definitely have you back so you can tell us what's going on, as far as letting parents, letting families, letting the community know what's going on. Right. We found this venue, this mode just makes it a lot easier, just to kind of get it out there. Also put a face behind, a name, out there. So I appreciate it. Right. Stay safe. Appreciate everything you guys are doing for us out there.
Thank y'all. We appreciate it too.
Thank you.